Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're tackling something that's shifting really fast from like a neat trick to a totally essential skill.
Yeah, we're talking about how to write instructions prompts for AI tools.
Exactly. Not just typing in a basic question, but crafting effective prompts, really
Mm.
unlocking what these things can do.
And we're working from a great source today, a guide that's all about prompt writing. Our mission here really is to pull out the key ideas, the core principles, maybe some frameworks from this guide.
Yeah, the stuff that's actually going to help you listening get, consistently better results from AI.
That's the goal.
Because let's face it, the potential of AI is huge. We all see the headlines. But using it, the output can be, well, all over the place sometimes.
Mhm.
And that difference between getting junk back and getting something actually useful, so often it just comes down to the prompt, how you asked.
It really does. It's not just a small detail. It's fundamental, actually.
Yeah. Okay, so let's dive in. The core idea the source really pushes is that these AI tools, powerful as they are, they completely depend on the instructions you give them.
Right. The source uses this great analogy. Think of the AI like a super smart assistant, maybe too literal sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. And if you give that assistant a vague, brief, confusing instructions, missing info,
Well, you can't really be surprised if the work isn't what you wanted.
but a really clear brief, that empowers the assistant to nail it.
That analogy works so well because it zeroes in on the human part. The prompt isn't just hitting enter. It's how you communicate everything, your goal, the context, the constraints, what you expect.
Hmm.
It's how you get the AI to grasp, okay, what are we trying to achieve here? Who is this for? What should it sound like? What format does it need to be in?
Without that guidance, it just kind of defaults, right, to the most statistically average thing.
Pretty much.
Right.
Which is often way too generic to be actually useful for your specific need.
Okay, so the prompt is our briefing. How do we make that briefing better? The source gives some really fundamental tips. What's like the first big one?
It sounds simple, maybe obvious, but it's crucial. Be clear and specific.
Okay.
This is where, honestly, a lot of prompts fall down. You've got to avoid being ambiguous. Make sure each prompt has, like, one clear job to do.
Right. So don't ask it to write a blog post, A&D draft, 5 tweets, A&D, summarize a report all in one go.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That's just asking for a mess. Break it down. One goal per prompt.
Makes sense. What about background info? Giving the AI the bigger picture?
That's the next big one. Provide context and details. This is where you really help the AI understand the world around the request.
Like what?
Like, who's the audience? What tone are you going for? Formal, casual, funny? What's the situation, the scenario? Any backstory it needs.
Okay.
This is a big one. Tell it the format you want back. Don't just ask for info. Ask for a bullet list or a table with specific columns or, structured like an email.
Oh yeah, I've found that format thing makes a huge difference. Asking for pros and cons versus a 2-column table with headers, pros and cons, totally different usability.
Absolutely. Because then you get something you can actually use straight away.
So for more complicated stuff, how do you manage that complexity in the prompt?
Well, for those complex tasks, the source really recommends using structured frameworks.
Okay, like what?
Instead of just write an essay, which is super broad,
All right.
you outline the structure you want. Write an essay with an intro, thesis, 3 body paragraphs covering points X, Y, and Z with details, and a conclusion.
So you're giving it a skeleton to build on.
Exactly. Or maybe you want data organized a certain way. You could even specify JSON output if that's useful. The guide actually shows an example. Asking for an essay about automation is okay, but asking for it with a clear, defined structure, that gets you a much better, more organized piece.
It's like handing over a blueprint, not just a vague idea.
Hmm.
Interesting. What about how we talk to the AI, the language itself?
Good point. The source says, mimic natural conversational language.
Okay. So don't be overly robotic.
Right. These models learn from tons of human text, conversations included. So writing your prompt more like you'd talk to a smart colleague can often yield better, more nuanced answers than, say, super stiff formal language.
And it feels more interactive too, right?
Yeah, and remember, it's often a back and forth. If the first try isn't quite right, don't just give up. Keep the conversation going. Ask it to clarify or change something or try again with a slight tweak.
That's a different way of thinking about it than like a search query. It's more of a dialogue.
It is. And speaking of dialogue, telling the AI who it should be, that's powerful too.
You mean like act as if?
Exactly. Using act as if or persona instructions. Tell it act as a world-class copywriter or you are a patient tutor explaining physics.
And that changes things how?
It instantly frames the whole response. The AI taps into the knowledge, the tone, the perspective associated with that role. It's like a shortcut to providing a ton of context implicitly.
It gives it a character to play.
Cool. And you can also be really explicit about what not to do, right? Like boundaries.
Absolutely. That's the give, do, and don't instructions tip. Super practical.
Okay.
If you're brainstorming recipes, say do include mushrooms, but don't include any dairy. It stops it from going off in directions you don't want or leaving out essentials.
Simple, but probably saves a lot of editing later. Setting guardrails for your assistant.
You got it. And one more thing. What if you have a really specific style in mind?
Like you want it to sound like Hemingway or format like a specific report.
Yeah, or maybe match the tone of something you already wrote. The tip is provide examples.
Show, don't just tell.
Exactly. If you can show the AI an example or describe one really clearly, it gives it a concrete target to aim for. Way better than just trying to describe a style abstractly.
Okay, that's a solid set of tips for the first prompt, but you mentioned it's not always one and done.
Oh, definitely not. And this is maybe the most crucial mindset shift the source emphasizes. The importance of iteration and refinement.
Meaning, don't expect the AI to read your mind and give you perfection on the first try, especially for anything complex. It just doesn't work that way.
So it's a process.
It's a cycle. You write your prompt, you get a response, then you evaluate it. Did it actually meet your goals? Did it follow the instructions? And based on that evaluation, you iterate.
You tweak the prompt.
Right. You refine it. Add more detail maybe,
Yeah.
clarify something that was confusing, adjust the structure, maybe even give the AI specific feedback like, that part was good, but make the tone more formal.
Ah, so you're coaching it.
In a way, yeah. This whole feedback loop, prompt, evaluate, iterate, that's how you steer the AI towards the result you actually need.
Okay, that changes the pressure a bit. It's not about writing the perfect prompt immediately. It's about starting well and knowing how to adjust.
Precisely.
But what if you're stuck at the start? Like, you have a big idea, but staring at that blank prompt box is just daunting. You don't even know what details to include.
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah.
And for that, the source has this brilliant method. Start small, grow with interaction.
Okay, how does that work?
It's perfect for when you're not totally sure what the final thing needs to look like. Instead of trying to guess every single detail the AI might need up front.
You just start.
Start broad. Give it a high-level goal. And then this is key. You let the AI help you figure out the details by asking you clarifying questions.
Interesting. The source had an example, right? Creating an intro to AI for college students.
Yeah, exactly. You don't need the perfect prompt right away. You can just start with something like, hey, help me put together an introduction to artificial intelligence for a college audience. Pretty basic.
And the AI won't just write something generic.
A good AI model will likely come back and ask you things like, okay, how long should this introduction be? Or should we focus more on the theory or practical examples? Or is this audience technical or completely new to AI? Any specific concepts you definitely want covered.
Ah, I see. So by answering its questions.
You're forced to actually think through the specifics. What is the duration? Who is the audience? What are the key takeaways?
And that process helps you build the better prompt.
Exactly. So you go from that vague start to something much more detailed, like, okay, create a 20-minute introductory talk on AI. It's for a non-technical college audience. Let's cover simple definitions, maybe real-world examples like ChatGPT or facial recognition. We need one visual example idea, keep the tone engaging, focus on relevance, maybe touch on ethics briefly.
Wow, yeah, much better.
See, that start small, grow with interaction approach isn't just about getting a better AI output. It actually helps clarify your own thinking about what you're trying to create in the first place.
It turns prompt writing into like a brainstorming session with the AI.
You got it. It uses the AI's ability to ask smart questions to help you refine both the prompt and your own project goals.
That's really clever. Now, the source also mentioned a specific framework, a structured approach called TCREI. What's that about?
Yeah, TCREI. It's basically a 5-step checklist to help you build robust prompts systematically. It stands for task, context, references, evaluate, and iterate.
Okay, TCREI. Let's walk through it. Maybe use that marketing email example from the source for the tool called Promptly.
Sure. So, step 1, task. This is just defining the main job, super clear. For the email, it's act as a SaaS marketing copywriter. Write a promotional email for our new AI writing tool, Promptly.
Simple enough. Step 2, context.
Right, this is all the background info. Who's it for? What's the goal? Tone. So for the email, target audience is small business owners. They might struggle with writing marketing stuff. Tone should be friendly, informative, action-oriented, main goal. Get free trial signups.
Got it. Step 3, references. What does that mean?
This is where you give hints about format or structure or provide examples. For the email, use a standard email structure, catchy subject, engaging opening, maybe bullet points for benefits, clear call to action, CTA, professional closing.
Okay, makes sense. Step 4, evaluate. This happens after the AI generates something.
Exactly. This is the critical review step. Does the output actually work? Did it follow instructions? For the email, read the draft. Does it flow well? Are the benefits of promptly clear? Is that CTA strong enough for a busy small business owner?
And if it's not quite right?
That leads to step 5, iterate. Based on your evaluation, you tweak the prompt and try again. For the email example, maybe the tone's off. Ask for it to be warmer or more direct. Benefits too weak. List the specific features you want highlighted instead, then run the prompt again with those changes.
Task, context, references, evaluate, iterate, TCREI. It really forces you to think through the whole process, doesn't it? Both planning the prompt and refining the output.
Yeah, it provides a solid structure. Helps you move from just, typing a random sentence to being more methodical, more like prompt engineering. Makes the whole thing repeatable and easier to improve.
Okay, so we have principles, methods, frameworks. The source then brings up actually trying these prompts out, like in a real environment.
Because writing the prompt is one thing, but seeing if it actually works, especially with data or code, that's where the learning really happens.
And they mentioned Google Colab.
Yeah, specifically Colab's AI-powered data science agent. It's a place where you can, say, upload a spreadsheet, like a CSV file, and then literally just ask the AI in natural language to analyze it.
Like that example, asking Colab, what are the top 5 programming languages used by the people in this survey data?
Right. The AI figures out what code is needed to answer that, shows you the plan, and you can run it right there. It's a direct test. Did your natural language prompt lead to the right analysis?
That's a great way to practice. And they had a cool tip about errors, too.
Oh, yeah. Super useful. If the code the AI generates gives you an error, which happens, you don't necessarily have to figure it out yourself.
What do?
You can just copy the error message, the whole traceback, paste it back into Colab, and ask the AI itself, hey, what does this error mean, and how can I fix it?
So the AI helps you debug its own code.
Pretty much. It turns it into more of a co-pilot, helping you not just generate, but also troubleshoot. Very practical.
Okay, zooming back out then, if you had to boil it down, what does the source say are the absolute must-haves, the 3 essentials, for any strong prompt?
Right. These are like the non-negotiables. If you get these right, you're way ahead. A strong prompt clearly defines 1, the role or persona. Who should the AI be?
Like, act as a travel agent.
Yep. 2, the output format. How do you want the answer structured?
Give me a bulleted list.
Or a JSON object, or a 5-paragraph essay. And 3, the context and goal. What's the situation, and what are you trying to achieve?
Context is planning a family vacation to Italy. Goal is to find kid-friendly activities in Rome.
Exactly. Role, format, context, goal. If you nail those 3, you're giving the AI the core instructions it needs.
It feels like the minimum viable prompt, almost. Enough direction to get something useful back.
That's a good way to put it. They provide the essential constraints. Without them, the AI is just guessing, pulling from its massive data set without focus. These 3 funnel its capabilities towards your specific need.
The source also mentioned having real-world prompt examples, like for social media or a brochure or an email. We don't need to read them out, but what's the value of including those?
They're basically case studies.
Yeah.
They show how you take all these principles we've discussed, clarity, context, structure, maybe that 8-point checklist they had for the brochure, and apply them step by step to a real concrete task.
So you can see the theory in practice.
Right. They act like templates or worked examples you can adapt for your own projects. Very practical.
Okay, moving towards more advanced stuff now. The source talks about NLP-friendly content prompts. NLP, natural language processing.
Yep. Natural language processing is the whole field of getting computers to understand human language.
So an NLP-friendly prompt is written for the computer's understanding, not just mine.
Sort of. It's about crafting your prompt in a way that plays to the strengths of how these large language models actually process information. Structuring it so the AI can better grasp your meaning, the relationships between words, your underlying intent.
Okay, so it's about being clear, but in a way that resonates with the AI's internal workings. What makes a prompt NLP-friendly? What are the key traits?
The source lists a few key things. Again, clarity and specificity is foundational. Then, contextual guidance audience, tone, purpose. Using relevant semantic keywords, words related to the topic that help the AI lock onto the right concepts. Really focusing on the user intent. What does the person reading the final output actually need? And often using a conversational style.
It feels like some of these overlap with the general tips, but maybe with more emphasis on why they work for the AI.
Exactly. It's about understanding the mechanics a bit more.
They had a great before and after example for this. The before was super simple, right? Just write about accounting software.
Yeah, very vague, not very NLP friendly.
And the after was much richer. What was that again?
It was something like, write a blog post for small business owners about the benefits of using cloud-based accounting software in 2025. Highlight specific advantages like real-time collaboration, efficient expense tracking, and enhanced data security. Use a friendly, informative tone suitable for a business audience.
Okay, yeah, huge E difference. You can see all those traits in the after version. It's specific, gives tons of context, audience year, type of software, uses keywords, cloud-based, real-time collaboration, expense tracking,
Yeah.
targets user intent, benefits for small business owners, and specifies the tone.
Right. It gives the AI so much more structured, meaningful information to work with. It's not just a topic. It's a detailed request designed to get a high-quality, relevant response.
It's like switching from a blurry photo to a high-res image for the AI to work from.
That's a good analogy.
So wrapping things up, the source's final thoughts really drive home a positive message, right? That this isn't some dark art.
Not at all. The big takeaway is that writing great prompts is absolutely a learnable skill.
It's not magic.
Nope. It's about understanding the principles, clarity, context, structure, using tools like TCREI or methods like starting small, and just practicing.
Yeah.
Anyone can get better at it.
It really comes down to practice, experimentation, looking at what works and what doesn't, and refining your approach. The source basically concludes the better your prompt, the better your results.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
It really underscores that the human element, your skill in crafting the instruction, is still incredibly vital for getting the most out of these powerful AI tools.
So as we finish up this deep dive, it's clear that prompts are way more than just questions. They're our main way to interface, to brief, to collaborate with AI. Getting good at it, understanding clarity, context, structure, using frameworks, iterating, maybe even thinking about NLP that can just fundamentally change the quality of what you get back. It's about learning to communicate effectively with the AI.
Or maybe helping the AI communicate effectively with us. And thinking about that dependence, how much the AI's output relies on our input, it leads to a really interesting final thought for you, the listener, to mull over. Yeah. Given how heavily the final AI output is shaped by the human prompt, the role we assign, the structure we demand, the context we provide, the specific goal we set, how does mastering this skill, prompt writing, change how we should think about AI-generated content? Is it really just the AI's creation? Or is it becoming more and more sophisticated collaboration where maybe the human skill in crafting that perfect prompt is actually the key driving force behind the quality of the result? Something to think about.